Welcome to My Long Island TV. From Manhasset to Montauk, we have traveled our communities to bring you the following events. I'm your host, Waldo Cabrera. My Long Island TV starts now.
Ana Elisa Fuentes is a photojournalist and a human rights activist, and her work really epitomizes our mission. She brings our mission to life. She not only photographs people all around the world as they are struggling against different forms of oppression, but she is also in the front lines as a relief worker providing aid to people in Haiti after hurricanes or floods. This exhibit, which was made specifically for our center, represents women from all over the world. And we chose to exhibit her work during Women's History Month. And it celebrates women and girls literally from all the different corners of the earth.
I grew up in the civil rights era, and as a child remember like the assassination of JFK and Martin Luther King, and I thought, wow, these images are really powerful. Maybe I too can do the same thing. I can record images that will stop people in their tracks, to perhaps cause them to think or to evaluate or to reflect upon our country as a whole. And I'm just so happy that I've been able to accomplish that in my life. Last December, I went to Oslo, Norway, and photographed the Nobel Peace Laureates, the three women, Tawakkol Karman, President Johnson Sirleaf, and Lema Gaboui. And that was such an energizing experience to see these three women who overcame military opposition through a grassroots movement with women peacefully. So that was really energizing and inspiring. I'd like to highlight this photograph. This one was taken in Tibet, the plateau of Tibet. If people could really understand now the oppression in Tibet and in China, the information media outlets are being completely blocked. The monasteries are being raided. There are people being put in prison for years and years and years without any justice, without any judicial outcome or possibility. To me, the hands say so much, sometimes more than the face. In just the way that maybe the length of the fingers, maybe the crookedness of the fingers, maybe, scars or something, they are so telling. Here we are in 1994 to commemorate the civil rights movement, and here we are. It's like we have African Americans still under the shadow, under the banner of a Confederate flag, which to me symbolizes racism. Because it was windy that day, I waited for it to kind of be curled up there so that it was part of the image, part of the composition, part of this time in history. And while it's still there, it's not prominent, but you still get the message that racism still exists in this country. And this one here is Dr. Ndesha Ida Mae Holland. She participated in the marches with Martin Luther King during this Freedom Summers in 1964. This is a portrait of Dr. Ndesha Ida Mae Holland. This was to commemorate her play From the Mississippi Delta. It's autobiographical, and she passed away 3 or 4 years after this photo was taken. Carolyn Goodman is the mother of Andrew Goodman, who was one of the 3 civil rights workers who were slain during the freedom rides in Mississippi in 1964. Now, Latinos are being challenged in their right to vote in this country. So it's definitely another theme in our nation's history that hasn't quite yet been expelled. This freedom to vote for all people of color that make up our nation's fabric and history. I also want to thank the Holocaust Center in supporting this exhibit in the dedication to my mother. She passed away last July, and she was my backbone. She never let me give up because it's a difficult, very competitive field. I was able to say, Mom, I am dedicating this to you. And that was our last conversation. So for me, apart from having this exhibit personally, there is nothing more I could ask really for in my life than to have given all of this back to her.